Well, hello and welcome back to the channel. So I managed to hurt myself. I fractured the tibial plateau in my right knee. When I was out skiing, I was actually activating a summit, when I was activating Mud Creek Ridge. And I got halfway down in conditions that had poor coverage, and one of my skis caught. The left ski ejected, the right ski did not eject, and I didn't realize I had a fracture until a few days later when a radiologist looked at the x-ray and identified it. So it's a mild fracture. Hopefully I'll be able to get by without surgery, but I'm on crutches now. But rather than let that stop me from playing with portable ham radio, which is one of my favorite things to do, I decided to treat it as an opportunity to solve problems and also talk about activating when you're differently abled. So I have to get around on crutches right now, which does make setting things up and doing some normal things less simple. So one of the things that I've already done, and it was just a lucky thing that I did this, was I had installed a mount for the ADAS 120 antenna in my car, and you've seen me do a video about this antenna already. And so I already have that set up in the car. So then what I went ahead and did is I went out and I bought an FT-710 to be my base station radio so that I could install the FT-891 in here permanently and make that the mobile radio for me. And I 3D printed, I designed and 3D printed this mount for the remote head unit. And the radio's under the seat. I've got a little speaker right here that I already had lying around. And it's lucky that I already put the mount in and ran the wires. Like, the wire is running in a really weird location. This is like the coax that goes out to it, because I'm not going to reroute it nicely until I can move around better without hurting myself. So, because one of the things I figured out, when you're on crutches, like, you don't have a free hand to do stuff. And there might be a lot of reasons that somebody might not be, fully able. And one of the things that I really like about Parks on the Air is that it's extraordinarily accessible. Like, I can still participate in portable operating as long as I have a car. And maybe those of you who have hurt a leg or something like that before can kind of attest to this. But one of the things about the car is that it's one of the places that I feel the least disabled, because I'm on the same level as everybody else. So this fact that I can set this up without getting out of the car is a pretty big deal. And just let me show you what I do really quickly. So one of the other things I do, and this has been a strategy I've been using just to get around, is I carry a backpack everywhere now. And that way, when I need to carry something and I don't have a free hand, I just put it in the backpack. And the reason I installed the radio in the car is so that now I don't have to take the radio inside and outside. I just take the battery, right? I could, when I'm more able, I'll probably permanently install the electrical system for the radio, but I'm not going to do that right now because I just can't get around. I mean, I was basically barely able to just slip the radio under the seat while sitting in the driver's seat yesterday. And I used magnets because I knew there was some metal down there that I could hold it in place with. So I've just got some little button magnets that are holding the radio kind of down there. And then I have, here's the power poles that go to the radio just kind of poking out here. So I can just power the radio with these power poles. And I just plug it in and I can hear it clicking down there. And turn it on. You should start to hear this now. But I really love Yaesu for making this radio. Nobody else has this. Nobody else has a radio like this that has a remote head unit that's not dumb like the 7100, that you can just mount remotely like this, and it's all ready to go. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and activate this park. But that's basically my setup. It's just that little 12 ampere hour battery. I have a 50 ampere hour battery at home that I can use if I decide that I really want to activate for that many hours. And I ordered one of those chargers from PowerWorks. But yeah, this isn't bad. I can sit here. The funny thing is I can actually activate, or I can, if I really wanted to. Oh, here's the other thing. I just keep my CW key in the car now, and then I have a cable that's coming up from the radio. But I still like to strap the key to my leg. I don't see a need to have it on the, well, the car is small. It's not a pickup truck. There's not a lot of space in here horizontally like this way to really mount a lot of stuff. So I still need to like have the paddle on my leg, and kind of be a little bit space conscious while I do this. That's a good sign. There was a solar storm today, so. Oops, gotta tune it. So here I am tuning the antenna. You can see it moving out there. Okay, so this thing's making a lot of thumping. I'm gonna check something real quick. So the headphone jack has never been that great on the FT-891. I'll definitely say that. Not a lot going for it. A lot of thumping coming out of that. It's very unpleasant, rather unpleasant. I'm finally willing to just admit that the headphone output on the FT-891 is terrible. There's a bunch of thumping in it from when you're sending CW. There's a ton of noise from the audio amp, just hiss from the audio amp, some stuff. I mean, it's obviously not something that Yaesu was putting a lot of effort into making that headphone output work well. So that kind of means when I'm operating portable from in the car that really it's going to be through the speaker for the most part. So that is what it is. You have to have this microphone with you because the microphone lets you adjust the ADAS. You can't really, there's sometimes the thing will say that it's tuned, the antenna, and it hasn't, and then you can do little micro adjustments, but the only way to do them easily is through the mic. There is a way to do it through the faceplate, but it's terrible. But in all, like just today sitting here for, and not the greatest band conditions today either. Like there's been a couple of solar flares and there's a CME hit today. And yet I got 36 QSOs in an hour and 8 minutes. So it works. I mean, what I've observed with the ADAS, that little shortened antenna, is that I receive better signal reports than I give, which makes sense. So other people are getting, like if I'm getting, it's putting some fraction of my power out, but that fraction is still a decent amount of power. But what it's not doing is it's obviously not receiving as efficiently. So other people aren't noticing that they can't hear me. I'm noticing that I can't hear others as well, which makes perfect sense. But for being the best solution I have for operating portable right now and able to do that with only one good leg, that's pretty great. And honestly, I credit Yaesu for that, for making a radio that is usable in the car. That's actually one of the ways that you make ham radio more accessible to more people, at least portable operating. And I hope that other radio manufacturers will get with the program on that one. It's crazy that there's really only one radio model that can do that. I used to kind of dismiss HF Mobile, but now that I'm hurt and I still like to operate portable, I totally see the appeal. I see the use case for mobile HF, and that's an area that should be getting more focus, because there are people who are disabled for lots of reasons, disabled, differently abled, however we want to phrase that, but there are people who can't get around so well anymore, and that shouldn't be a reason that somebody can't do parks on the air, especially parks on the air. Most of these parks are themselves quite accessible. This park is very accessible. So the hobby should be accessible. This is a great way of doing it. It's a full 100-watt radio. The ADAS antenna works pretty darn decently. It's pretty darn good. So overall, I'm impressed. I like it. This setup works really well. Not only is it convenient, but it is accessible. And with that, I'm going to say 7-3. Go out there and play with your radios in whatever way you can.